Future gods and goddesses in training, welcome back to the channel. It's Uncle Makara. Let's get started today. Today's a very interesting topic, man. It's all about the Jonah complex. I've been exploring a little bit more on this as I have an exam coming up in a few days. This topic really fascinates me. We at Primal Sutra, we've chosen to refer to this as the golden shadow. If you guys aren't familiar with this is the fear of your own greatness, the fear of your own success, the fear of your own potential. Subconsciously or subliminally, you might be preventing yourself from success, self-sabotaging and so forth, okay? Let me know in the comments if this resonates with you, if this is something that you've struggled with, or you need help with this in some way. This is a concept actually by Abraham Maslow. And if you're familiar with Maslow, he has the hierarchy of needs. And on top of that hierarchy of needs is something called transcendence, but below that is self-actualization. So the Jonah complex is actually a self-actualization block. Let that sink in. You cannot actualize yourself if you still have a fear of getting to the top or the pinnacle of your greatest self. People with Jonah complex have difficulty differentiating between humility and a self-helplessness. It might have a fear of the work or the responsibility required to be successful, or not even recognizing one's greatness, talents, skills, innate qualities that they possess. If you have Jonah complex, you're fearing your highest possibilities. Have you ever run away from your talents? Or, as Maslow called it, have you been evading your own destiny? You have a calling in life, but you've been pushing it to the side. You've been pushing it away because it's too much responsibility. It's too scary. It's too intimidating. What will others think of me? Oh my gosh, I'm in the spotlight. So what are the signs of Jonah complex? Number one, a fear of pride or success, but more so it's even a fear of sinful pride or hubris or arrogance or grandiosity. Okay, so conceitedness, or a lot of Asian communities believe in humility at all costs, right? There's no room for any kind of pride whatsoever, okay? Which is actually a deterrent. It's a block towards a lot of people's goals and success because they can't really bask in the afterglow of their accomplishments because they minimize their accomplishments. They maximize the fact that, I've put in all this work, but they minimize celebrating the glory of making it to the finish line. It's important for us to embody victory, right? And not discount it. Like if someone gives you a compliment, do you just kind of push it away? When you know you should be in the spotlight, do you feel like being low key and in the background? Right? These are little signs that you can start to notice. I've noticed it within myself many times, but now I'm more watchful, I'm more conscious, I'm more aware of how my mind does this. The second sign you'll notice that you're capable of doing something, but you're still fearing it. You're completely 100% capable of doing that thing, but at the same time you feel resistance, hesitation, like doubt creeping in and so forth. And lastly, you fear that other people will hate you if you're too successful, that you've subconsciously associated success with being disliked, okay? I've seen a lot of people go, fuck the haters, or whatever, right? Why are you giving so much attention to the haters, okay? Haters are a byproduct of you being successful. There's gonna be people who disagree with you, that come out of the woodworks. And again, this is a very, very important topic when it comes down to this, but I really want you to explore this to your greatest capacity. So why is it called the Jonah complex? This is from the biblical prophet Jonah, who ran away from his calling or his destiny. So understand that this complex stops personal growth, it stops self-actualization, it creates self-sabotage, and it doesn't allow us to really lean into our challenges and face and confront that fear of being seen, of being heard, of being recognized, of actually winning. doing something where you achieve something great. So let's say on the surface you're saying, oh yeah, I'm the best at blank. But subconsciously, you're procrastinating. You might be thinking, oh, that's too arrogant that I said that. You start avoiding the work. And sadly, this creates more of an underachievement. I think we as a culture, especially Asian communities, have got to differentiate between hubris and sinful pride and actual pride. Actual pride is a very, very necessary thing. So if you notice the Hawkins scale of consciousness, you'll notice that pride is above anger. Anger has settled in, and it's a feeling of irritation and dislike, whereas pride is actually, you're starting to feel good. And it's not a very long-lasting feeling good, because still, this is kind of an ego preservation tactic. But hey, it's the beginning of feeling good. So we gotta really give ourselves this space to feel good. It's okay to feel good. It's okay to feel good. It's okay to feel good. Okay, let's not hold any shame towards that, because a lot of people cannot balance shame and pride together. But when you can stay at the midpoint, balancing those two poles, you become the flow state Jedi, you become the savage shaman, you become the priest beast, or the priestess beast. So actually this might just explain your procrastination, right? You are putting things off because there is this subconscious block that you think, hey, if you do make it, if it will be successful, then what? Then I'll have more responsibilities, then I'll have to do this other thing, right? And so you keep pushing it off. It's like, I don't want to work. What's the best way to catch this golden shadow moment? Number one, notice that if someone is intimidating you, or you feel this sense of, wow, I really admire that person, or I feel really jealous around that person, or what they have, or what they're doing, recognize that that quality is already within you too. And that is why you recognize that in the first place. So the way that you catch the Jonah complex is you watch out for a projection. A projection is something that you've repressed or is very difficult to admit, and that thought goes very, very underground until something else triggers it. So how can you differentiate from just an ordinary reaction to a pain body attack or a kind of triggered reaction? Usually, if it's a burst of uncontrollable irritation, it's probably a projection. Okay, it's probably a projection, because why else would you be overreacting to such a degree if that poison wasn't in you as well? You see what I'm saying? That behavior is present within that other person. So myself nowadays, I see other Indian guys who are maybe going through the process of personal development, and they're not really caught up, and they're kind of just not taking their process, playfully. Oh, let's say for instance, I get triggered by someone's lack of encouragement or motivation on themselves. I've probably felt that demotivated in my past, so it reminds me, that person's presence reminds me of my past self. You get that? And so that's why that shadow is coming out to play in that moment. So what do we do with that? What Maslow recommends is that you laugh at yourself, you learn how to laugh at yourself, not take this so seriously, and also work towards expressing your wonder, expressing your awe at your own brilliance, at what is happening around you, right? So expressing yourself from that space of wonder. Find that graceful integration between humility and pride, because arrogance without humility actually creates paranoia. So we have to understand these things and curtail it towards our best selves. Huxley says that we've got to maintain our wonder and surprise. Understand that we are gods in training. So I recognize that I have godlike capabilities and possibilities. There are godlike aspects of me. And at the same time, I have human error and human limitations. You get that? So there's this existential understanding that I'm a human with my flaws, at the same time understanding that I can peer into the edge and start creating and challenging myself to generate a powerful echo chamber of success for myself. And there might be other people getting in the way, like I said, through projections, or it might be just your own self-talk, you know? Your beliefs are telling you that it needs to be hard, it needs to be difficult, whereas it doesn't have to be, okay? You make that choice. You are allowed to get into an easier state of mind that can tap you into more simplicity, more focus, and so forth. So this is actually up to you. And what I want you to explore today is different ways in which you can lean into your possibilities. Lean into those limitations that seem to be like borders controlling you all the time. See if you can take a calculated risk, okay? Take a mini calculated risk where you are attacking your own ego. These are called shame attacking exercises by Adler, but also by King Jin, because we work with different spirits and so forth. But you've got to really let yourself explore that without any attachment to it. So if you feel like, man, I could never be an asshole, I could never do that, you know? This is a story from Jackson. Went out on the highway, took down the roof of his car, you know? Got out of the highway like this, and he just flipped everybody off, right? He just flipped the entire world off like that. And that was a psychic release of that old pattern telling him that I cannot be an asshole, that I can't be arrogant, that I can't be prideful, that I can't show myself or flaunt or, you know, allow myself to bask in the luxury that I have. I've understood this from AZD. There's a big difference to somebody wearing a chain and somebody showing their grills and chain like this. You don't need this as a crutch. The fact that you're wearing it already shows that I am enough. I'm worthy. I wear things that look good and feel good and they match my persona. I'm not attached to these things. I mean, I'm completely validated and happy with less. So why would I need to over-exaggerate? So you might be thinking, why do I need to exaggerate that? I can keep myself low-key, that's fine. But I'm telling you, notice the people who are at their pinnacle, at their edge. They've got that braggadocious quality about them, right? They have that sense of like mastery, like, man, I know I'm good. I know I've got it. I know I'm gonna get better, right? There is this confidence that is instilled within them. It's created from their competence, from them leaning into the challenges that got them to that state of feeling worthy, of feeling abundant, of feeling pride. So let this be a lesson to you today. I hope this resonates with you. Share this with a friend. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Let's get it today. I'll see you on the other side. We're all gonna make it. No prisoners left behind. Let's get it. Upward spiral.